Warning! This podcast contains spoilers. I was going to say something clever, but I couldn't think of it in time.
I always chuckle when I hear that.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Pretty Little Liars, Season 6, Episode 6, No Stone Unturned. I'm your host, Dom. With me, my co-host, April.
Hey!
How's it going?
Great, how are you?
It's been good. It's been a long 2 weeks.
I know. Well, actually, it wasn't that long for me because, I saw the episode a week later. So it felt like it was, normal for me. Not so much for you.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, I went back on the synopsis for last week's episode. This is something I didn't actually catch until after the fact.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, it's something I'm sure you heard it because it was going a buzz on the internet. I had to go back and even watch last week's episode again. But in the synopsis that we read 3 weeks ago, for last week's episode, She's No Angel, or 2 weeks ago's episode, it says, Mona returns to Rosewood in a very fragile state as she must answer to the police for faking her death. Matters only get worse when she's confronted by Leslie's sister about Leslie's inadvertent involvement in Mona's plot. Now, I watched this episode. You watched it. We never discussed Leslie's sister.
I remember seeing it, like, when I went to record it or whatever, or went to go watch the recording, and it said Leslie's sister. And I remember being like, okay, we're going to meet someone new.
Yep.
But then when I didn't meet anybody new and I thought it was just Leslie, I never thought of bringing it back up to talk about it because I just threw it under the rug. Like, oh, maybe it was just a mistake. But now with everything that's happening. I
completely forgot about it.
Yeah, with everything that's happening, though, that's quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's
something to keep in mind.
Yeah, there's been some possible leaks, which we'll be talking about in another video. So if you guys are interested in discussing those leaks, go find that video, and we will be discussing it there. But yeah, so people are wondering. They're like, does Leslie have a twin? Because
it's possible.
Leslie was the one asking about things to Mona, not her sister.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just kind of shocked by this because it's like, okay, we've been talking about twins this whole time, and Charles is clearly not a twin.
Right. So we all thought Charles was a twin. This could be, the twin theory actually happening, or it really could have just been a mess up. Not likely, but
yeah.
I mean, there's something going there. So we got to keep that in mind, definitely, when we talk about Leslie or anything happens with Leslie.
Yeah. I mean, Leslie's been pretty shady the last couple episodes.
For sure.
And then in this episode, we saw Hannah borrowing, Leslie's car.
Yeah.
That whole scene was hysterical. Like, her flirting with the, I thought I checked everywhere. It's like...
it's very easy to pull one over on a guy by just using a little bit of charm.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Have you tried that?
No, I'm not so good at it.
No?
No, not at all. I've seen it happen.
Yeah. Hannah was really smooth. She's just like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to walk back to Philly then. And she just like turned around. He's like, whoa. He's like, all right.
I'll get it for you.
She was really convincing. Like, when it comes to the liars and in terms of things, I think Hannah's got it down the best.
I mean, they've all had a lot of practice. Let's be honest.
This is true.
They've been working on this for quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah, so her and Spencer end up going through the car. Then after this very clever move by Hannah, we see her put on Leslie's glasses, and she's just
she sees better.
I've needed glasses this whole time.
Yeah, not so smart, Hannah.
No, Spencer's like, there's no prescription in these.
Yeah,
so why so many fake glasses? There's like 9 pairs in a shoebox in her car.
I mean, maybe she's just down with the whole hipster? God, what do you call it? The hipster emo thing, and she wants to make sure that if she breaks a pair, she's got a spare. But I don't know. It is a little shady that she's got all of these glasses, but you did hear Mona say that she is trying to pretend like she's not
Right.
insane. She's trying to blend in, so she's probably trying to look smarter.
Right. Now I'm thinking, if the twin thing is true, that there's probably a shoebox in there as a pair in case they need to switch places and there's extra around.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
I started thinking it in line with that. So, um,
That
but
is a
that's
very
not
good
the,
point.
yeah, that's not even the most shady thing about her car, though, is that she had four large animal cages
Hey.
in the back of her car.
At first, I thought that was super shady, but then, like, going and seeing that she works with all the lab animals, maybe not so shady.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of cages in there. There's a lot of animals. And like they said at pretty much the end of the episode, she's just another speed bump in finding out who Charles is. It's just somebody else to look at
Right.
and double think about before,
Yeah. Yeah, that whole college science lab was kind of creepy.
Yeah, not down with those kind of animals.
No,
Love animals, but I'm good.
the raccoon was adorable, but pretty
Oh,
vicious.
sure.
Raccoons are very vicious.
Yeah,
They really are. They're
unfortunately.
extremely territorial. One of my ex girlfriends, her father, told me a story how he had kept a raccoon as a pet. Like he had it when it was really small or
What?
whatever, and he had it, and it had built like this big nest thing or whatever. And he went in one day and cleaned it out, and like,
Oh, and that thing got pissed, huh?
yeah, when he let it back in, it tried to kill him. It was so mad.
Oh my
So
God.
he's like he had to grab the thing and he had to throw it like and lock the cage, and it was awful, and the thing was vicious to him afterwards. He couldn't keep it anymore after that. It was just he said it was the sweetest thing at first, and then oof. So
Not so much after
yeah,
that.
so I have mad props for mad respect for the animal trainers that go in there and have to deal with these
Oh yeah.
creatures on set. The girls, they're probably never in harm's way, because you never
Oh,
saw the
definitely not.
raccoon filmed at the same time as them. It was like it was shot by
Right.
itself. So
And even if they were, I bet you that's such a docile raccoon that it doesn't even matter. It's
yeah,
probably so well trained that like they probably got to hold it and play with it later if it's being
probably.
used on like an actual set, let's be
Yeah,
honest.
yep, yeah. But I don't understand why Hannah was letting them out in the first place. Like,
I got her thinking on that one. She went back to being locked into that cage, to being locked into the dollhouse,
mm-hmm.
and how horrible it felt. And she just put herself in that shoes, like in that animal shoes, where she was just like, "Damn, that must suck. I'm gonna let you go."
If you're gonna do that, take the cages, and let them out
Yeah,
in the wild. Like, letting
yeah. I
them
mean,
out in the lab is not gonna do anything.
no, I definitely think Spencer caught her and made her rethink her decision, and it
Yeah.
was probably a lot smarter to rethink her decision.
Arya held up pretty well with the rat on her shoulder, you know.
I would have not been so calm.
No?
No. Oh, God, no.
Hmm.
That rat would have been thrown at the raccoon. I don't even know. Somebody would have gotten attacked.
Hmm.
It wouldn't have been me though, because I would have been gone.
I'm curious, how do you do around snakes?
Not so well.
No?
I mean, I'm cool to like touch it if somebody else is holding it, and that's about it.
Hmm.
Like, get it away from me after that.
Interesting. I will keep that in mind. Um,
Oh, thanks. Maybe I won't be showing up this year to like help out.
oh, that's a shame. You miss out on all the fun.
Uh,
But yeah, and then Mona shows up, just like
which
out of the
is
blue.
really weird. Even more shady of Mona.
Yeah,
To
I
be
was just like, eh. And she goes on to tell us a story, about how Leslie said that Bethany and Charles were kind of tight
right.
in Radley, and then they both went missing at the same time.
Hmm. She
So,
also points out that Charles is, that sounded so weird, but his liver and all that would have not been good for donation.
yeah, and the
And
documents were forged.
Yes, I never thought of that before. When we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about last time that, he donated his organs, whatever, I just kind of brushed under the bush, like, okay, he donated his organs.
Right.
But I didn't think of the whole medicine part of it. Like that brings up a whole other. I definitely think he's still around for sure.
Yeah, I think he's around too. And even Hannah says it at the end to Emily. She's just like, I told you Charles was not dead this whole time. Like, he's been having us run wild goose
Mm-hmm.
chases. He only
Yep.
gave up his name because he didn't think we were leaving the dollhouse. And I really
Right.
don't think he did think that they were going to leave.
No, he didn't. He thought he was getting Allie. He thought that the dollhouse, he was going to have his ultimate dollhouse. He was going to be able to do whatever he wanted. I mean, and it backfired
Yeah.
big time.
Yep. Um, we had a lot with Dean this episode. He kept
Dean.
showing up to Spencer's.
Yes.
And then he gets really mad when Spencer missed the meeting. And I like had to go back. I'm like, did I miss a scene somewhere? Because so all of a sudden he appeared out of nowhere and he was just like furious.
When he explained it,
Yeah,
I get it.
right.
100% from like the addict and having addict friends, whatever. But then when he said he was in love with her, I was kind of a little taken back.
Yeah.
A
It's
little
just
bit.
like, I just want
I
to
wasn't
hold
expecting
you
it.
and kiss you. And I'm like, oh, this sounds really weird.
I was like, when did this romance feelings happen and why have they continued when you haven't really been around for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, what's up with Spencer? Like, why are all these guys throwing themselves at Spencer?
You
Out of
know,
the group of girls, Spencer is probably like third on my list.
I don't I mean, good for her.
Yeah,
I got nothing.
yeah. So, I don't know.
Lucky girl.
She is. She's got them all. She's got them all
Does.
lined up. She's throwing them all
She
away.
can have anyone she wants.
She could. Even
She wants
Charles.
Toby. That's a little gross.
Yeah.
Uh,
But we ended up being right about Emily's relationship.
yes, they kissed.
They
We
did.
saw that coming. I think Sarah's gonna freak out now.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, she hasn't had like a lot of time to, begin to realize what her emotions are or know how it is to be in like a relationship type situation or dating or even friends with benefits, whatever they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's been locked away underground in this dollhouse for so long. So I feel like she's definitely gonna freak. Have a
And
moment.
yeah, it's not only that she's still young. Like the girls
Oh
are
yeah.
like they're what 19ish, I
Yeah.
think. Because they're between high school. They're in their like last year of high
Oh,
school, going into
so they're
college.
probably like 18,
So yeah,
17, 18.
um,
They're around her age.
yeah. So she's right around that age, and then she's been locked up for 2 years.
Hmm.
So her last potential relationship was when she was 14 or 15.
Yeah. Not the same as what it's going to be now.
Right. So she didn't have time to like mature and stuff over that. So I think she's gonna end up being one of those like needy,
Ugh.
jealous type. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to play out quite interesting. I mean, you never know. It might be a ongoing relationship, but I don't know.
She's
I
already
feel like
kind of
she's kind of
super
gonna,
creepy.
yeah, and I feel like she's kind of gonna freak out, like pull back a lot after the
Well,
whole.
we saw how she reacted to hearing a conversation that Emily's mom was having about, finding her on the roof, and she just
Right,
like freaked out and left. So,
right.
yeah, I could totally see things not going very well there,
Oh yeah,
you know. Um, but she's also kind of the reason why Emily can't go to Habitats for Humanity, or Housing for
right.
Habitats rather.
Yeah, because Emily wants to stay and make sure that she's okay.
Yeah, and because Emily's friend Nicole comes down, who
Hmm.
she hasn't seen in years.
Right.
you know, and she tries to recruit Emily. Emily is reluctant to go, but she says she'll go, and then she says she can't.
She takes it back, yeah. I was kind of hoping that Emily would go, just for Emily's sake, because I feel like last time that she came back, she was in such a better state, you know, just for herself, and more mentally strong to take on the whole A game thing, you know.
Yep.
So I was kind of hoping she was going to go, but I guess it's not in the cards. But we never know. She might change her mind.
It's true. I mean, there is supposed to be a time jump this season.
Right.
So she might still go, and that whole thing is just off camera, you know?
Right, yeah.
She might just get back from the trip by the time the time jump's over.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's going to be interesting to see how that time jump plays.
It is. I guess we also saw, what is it, Caleb and Hannah hot and heavy.
Yeah, that was interesting. He had a reason for coming over, I guess.
He sure did, and
he proved it.
You know what the weird part about that whole thing is? Like, looking back on it, I ended up watching this episode twice.
Me too.
And looking back, knowing like what the outcome was going to be, it's almost as if Hannah's mom gave him permission to do this, you know, in a weird way, because it was kind of her idea to treat Hannah like you normally would, and I was just like, that's basically giving him consent, which is really weird.
Like, hey, why don't you hook up with my daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I feel like it was needed, though, because he needed to show her that he wasn't looking at her as this little fragile little girl still. You know, that's what she was afraid of.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we all know he really feels that she's fragile and he needs to watch her, but she needs to feel like that's not how he feels.
Yeah, because her mom was just like, you know, she left the freezer open. I lost $80 worth of groceries. So I went upstairs and yelled at her, and she couldn't have been happier. And I mean, I get it, because, you know, everybody's tiptoeing around. And,
right.
You know, you don't feel like yourself anymore. And, you know, you feel like everybody's on you. And then once, you know, you get something like that, all of a sudden things feel like normal again. So you're happy you're being yelled at. It's really weird.
Right.
So.
She just wants normal in her life.
Yeah.
Although it's quite impossible at this point.
Caleb's just like, I don't know, he's really weird to begin with. Like, I understand getting Sarah the job for his company or whatever, but he's sitting down with Sarah and he's trying to teach her there's a CMS interface.
I have no idea what he was trying to teach her.
And I was just like, I know very basic stuff, like when it comes to like coding a website, because when I was younger, I used to like take the code out of websites and just like play around with it and change things to see what it did. So I kind of taught myself a few little things, but like I can't do anything like crazy, like whatsoever. But it's just like what he was saying was going over my head. I Googled it. I was like, let me Google the CMS interface. I want to see like if this is something complicated or not. Like I want to see if it's something that she could do. And I couldn't find actual coding for it. What I found was a lot of people playing around with the layouts in Photoshop and like dragging pictures and saving various things. And it was just like, okay, so from my gathering, it's basically Photoshop with static images that you're just sliding around, and somehow programming is moving these things around. So I was like, maybe she's just handling the art aspect, which if that's the case, yes, it's something new. It's going to be challenging because she doesn't know it.
Right.
But it's still up her alley, you know, like anybody can move graphics around, you know, if that's the case. But if it's actual programming, I was like, that's not for her.
No. You know? I don't know. I kind of felt bad for her in that scene when he was like, oh, Kim Ye. And she's like, who? And he's like, you know, Kanye and Kim. Like, hello.
Yeah.
Where do you think this girl has been? Way to make her feel even more awkward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when they start putting references like that into the show, that's when my brain cannot wrap around the actual timeline of the show. Because if these girls are like 17, Like, did they ever give us a date of, like, when the show started? Like, they were in whatever
No,
year?
I don't
So,
think they did.
I don't know, because I'm trying to wrap around it, because if these are, like, actual, every season is a year, then they've been in high school for 6 years now, so that doesn't seem right to me. So this has got to be, like, 1 year worth of time or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it can't be. Oh God, yawning.
Yeah, I
It can't
just...
be that long of a time because I mean, 6 years in high school clearly isn't going to happen, and I feel like they've
Right.
they've only been in like two different like junior senior. I mean, have they ever been sophomores on the show?
I don't think they have.
I remember juniors. Now senior. I don't remember sophomore. So it's got to. I don't know. I don't even know how that even comes out with season wise,
Yeah, I'm
time
not sure.
wise.
But, like, more stuff with Sarah. She's just really creepy. Like, what is up with her bleeding all over, Emily's floor? She's like, all right, I got hit by a car on my bike. And she comes up to her bedroom and just bleeds everywhere. Like, go to the bathroom.
Go to the bathroom.
Like,
She.
she's
I mean,
upstairs. You know how Emily's bedroom is set up, so she had to go through the rest of the house. There's a bathroom on the way.
very true. I kind of felt bad for her in the scene, only because, being in the dollhouse again, you have to follow the rules. When you break the rules, there's punishments. So I'm sure when she got blood somehow not in the bathroom and in Emily's room, she bugged out thinking she was going to get like her butt whooped. So I kind of felt bad for her. That's, I feel like, why she was panicking.
Yeah. I mean, she gets shown a picture of the car, which is supposedly Leslie's car. She can't
Right.
exactly identify. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Whatever. So I don't know, what would Leslie's motivation be for running Sarah over if Leslie's not involved in the A team?
I think Leslie's involved in the A team,
You
Dom.
think she is?
I think she is.
Hmm.
There's a lot going on with that. I mean, yeah, she's a speed bump, but every speed bump has kind of been involved in the A team. Somebody has,
I mean, even Toby has been involved in A team,
right.
but
I'm
Toby's not. I mean, I don't think he is anymore. Like, he could
we
be
would hope
fooling us.
not. Yeah, he could be. The show's filled with surprises all the time,
Yeah.
but I mean, I feel like every time that we see somebody that's set up in a way to look bad, yeah, they've been doing something bad, but they're not A per se, but they're definitely working for A.
I mean, look how bad we looked at Ezra last season.
Oh yeah. Everybody
So
looked Ezra, I mean, nobody liked Ezra for a little bit there.
I loved Ezra. That was like my favorite. Ezra is like this very boring guy. I don't know. He's like,
He but he's so cute.
well, whatever. I don't know. But like,
No comment.
it's just like he's out of all the guys. I don't know. Maybe Toby, but Toby's more interesting now because he's a cop. But like Toby seemed very plain before too. Ezra, he had the teacher thing going for him, but he was just like, I don't know. Like, I did not like Ezra up until last season, and when Ezra started
Really?
acting like super shady, and it's like, okay, I know
I
he's
always
not
loved
A,
him.
I know he's not involved, but it was like the what are you actually doing thing.
Hmm.
That's what had me interested, and I think that interested me more than anything anyone on the show has ever done.
Oh no, not me. I liked Ezra from the beginning. I didn't find him that boring. He had the whole Arya relationship thing that made him like slightly interesting. Like, are you really that big of an idiot to date a high school student
Mm,
as their teacher?
yeah,
But
it happens. It happens all the time.
it does
It
happen in
didn't.
my high school.
It didn't happen in mine.
Sure happened in mine. Not me, for the record.
I didn't think it was, but yes.
No.
But speaking of Arya,
Okay, wait. Speaking of Arya, totally caught on to the whole mirror thing again this
hmm
episode, but I just still want to say she is not A.
I'm not saying she is A, but I definitely think she's involved somehow
I
because
don't know.
it's just like, all right, Arya goes there, she finds the doll, the creepy doll of her
Oh,
with the thing
yes.
stuck in her eye,
The knife, yeah.
and then Arya like starts questioning. She's like, how does A know where we're gonna be all the time? And they're like, Arya, it's always been this way. It's like she doesn't remember like what the hell's going on.
Yeah, but
It's
I
like,
mean,
it's like she's two different people. It's like she has a split personality.
I feel like
And the mirror that you
you
mentioned only redefines that. It just even more. It's just like Arya's looking at two
no.
versions of herself.
I feel like, I mean, if you're in that position and, yeah, you expect A to know everything, but did you really expect A to know you were going to be going back the next day? Like, I mean, come
If
on, you got to
if
give her a little bit of slack here.
if Arya has another personality, Arya's gonna know that she's gonna go back.
Oh my God, no.
And
It's
Arya's
not,
gonna
she's
know
not
where all the
helping.
girls are going to be and when they're all going to be
They're
together.
all microchipped. I'm ruining like a part
But
ahead. But like,
this has been going on before they were microchipped.
right, but now even more so, they're microchipped and everybody's gonna know.
I think the microchipping is from the other side of whoever's involved, like yeah, Arya's in I'm saying if Arya's in on it,
Hmm.
she's not the only one there. There's other people involved, clearly. So
Right.
because we saw A wrap Arya in saran wrap a couple episodes ago, like the plastic or whatever, and staple
Hmm.
her to the wall. So like there's clearly two things, but you notice he never tried to hurt her, and it's like Arya's never in any serious danger. So I feel like they're working together, and Arya's kind of has to be, set up
No.
in the same way the girls are. That you know
Nope. Still against you on this one.
Well, here's how we're gonna find out. We saw Arya at the end of the episode going to talk to Ezra, and we see her watching Ezra and Nicole, Emily's friend.
I was not too happy with that.
And Arya seemed like, not that she was mad or jealous. There was like, I guess, disappointment on her face
Hmm.
is the best way to put it.
Right.
So if all of a sudden, out of the blue now, something happens to Ezra or Nicole, this is only going to reaffirm my theory. So if something happens to one of them next week,
I'll give it to you, but I'm still not going to say that it would automatically, if something happens to Ezra, be Arya, just because Ezra has been helping the girls out, so he is also a target.
right? But if Arya has a split personality thing going, this little, you know,
I get where you're going with it, but I mean, I'm going to give you like a half benefit of the doubt.
mm,
I like Arya too much.
and
I like
that's
her.
why she would be perfect.
No.
The blind
It's
side.
Emily. It's Emily.
Emily
I'm gonna
doesn't even
go.
make sense.
I know.
Arya, there's just too many
That's why it's
coincidences
gonna
with
be
Arya.
her.
Arya playing with the dolls all the time. The Velkomen, which was Icelandic for come in or whatever in the dollhouse, and she went to Iceland. The year before. These texts and everything didn't start happening until Arya got back from Iceland. The other girls
Oh,
were still
that's
there.
bullshit.
They never got bothered. It didn't start until Arya got back. And then the letter that do you remember her father got, in like the first season?
Yep.
Like
I do. I do.
barely
But
anybody knew
I
about
can't.
that.
I can't say it's her. I can't. I like
Arya's
her.
like one of the few people that knew about it. So I don't know. I'm gonna blame her all day, every day.
Well, you're a butthead.
I just don't trust her. I don't. And when we find out that there's something off with her, I'm going to dance circles around you.
Go ahead. I want to film you dancing circles around me.
Victory laps of dancing circles.
I will die laughing while filming it.
You'll get dizzy.
I'll get dizzy.
Yes.
Uh,
And I guess the other really big thing here, because we talked about the microchips just before
Right.
that, but was Mr. De Laurentiis getting the birthday card from
oh,
Charles.
I loved that. Okay. So the beginning scene where he gets it at, when we don't see what it says
Right.
and he confronts Emily, I was like, well, come on, are you not going to let us know what the stupid card says?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you see him calling around, you get the gist that he's obviously questioning about
Yeah,
Charles.
he's crossing doctors' names off, some list he had. He made it all the way through
Right.
the bottom of the list, so.
Right. So, you see him doing all of that. And then when it cut to that last scene of him, and you see, clearly it's A, or someone on the A team is watching him in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and he's digging up the grave, and you see that card. I was like, oh my goodness. I loved it.
Yeah, it was like, I'm
That was
coming
like the
home.
best.
Plan a party to die for.
Die for
just you.
That part was great. I'm not supposed to find that funny. I'm not supposed to be on Charles' side, but in this case, I am. I'm sorry, his dad is getting what's coming to him. I mean, that's what you get, man.
I mean,
you should have gotten your kid some good help instead of chucking him away.
Was it Jason or was it Allison? I think it was Allie that mentioned the grave, right? Last week, the episode before this one. I think it was Allie.
I'm not quite sure.
I think Allie was trying to go see the girls or something, and the father wouldn't let her, so she threw that in his face and then walked out, if I remember correctly. I think that's how it went down. So
yes, you're right.
Yeah,
I think
so now he knew about it, so he went there and he found the grave. So he's got to dig it up. Do you think there's going to be anything in that grave, or is he digging his own grave?
I never even thought of him possibly digging his own grave. I was quite intrigued to see what could possibly be in there. Like, is there going to be an empty casket? Is somebody else going to be in there? Some other guy that went missing at some point in time? Or is it just going to be like stupid memorabilia or nothing?
Yeah.
No casket, no nothing.
It could be completely empty.
I'm quite curious to see how that goes. I mean, I don't think Charles would kill him there. I do think he expects his dad to throw him a party.
Yeah, could be. But next week's episode is called "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" And the synopsis reads, Charles declares he is coming home for his birthday. Meanwhile, Mona is shutting Mike out and Hannah gets an unwelcome surprise. So it's very, very vague. I think we lost her. So, I don't know. I'm really excited for that. Mona shutting Mike out is going to kind of be a bit of an issue.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're back. Maybe. You were back. Are you back? You're like all mosaic.
Okay.
No? I think you're back.
Keep on getting... I don't know.
Nope.
All I see is internet connection problem.
Okay, well, if you're back in real time, then...
I don't know what to do.
I'm not sure. That is kind of creepy. There. Things look like they're back. Are you back?
I think I might be, but okay. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, so Mona's pushing Mike out, and Hannah's unwelcome surprise. I don't know what her unwelcome surprise could be.
That, I mean, I could only think is possibly her father.
Ooh, good call.
Or stepsister. She doesn't have much things besides, in her life that are not already in the picture.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Anyway, I'm looking really forward to this episode. We're going to be doing another video for all the leaked spoilers for the rest of this season, this half of the season anyway. So stay tuned for that. And till next time. Oh, well, you can find me down below at Phenomedom, PHENOMEDOM. You can also find us on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Till next week. But you had this like really weird mosaic thing going on. It was kind of cool.
Really?
It was creepy and cool all at the same time.
Oh, hey, A was coming through. A was hanging out with me.
Yeah.